I've already spoken with Lisa. Lisa, thank you for allowing us to come down. And she's told me some of the things that you guys are interested in talking about, right? These associate agreements. You know, you're going to be asked to sign them in a few weeks or months. What does it mean when you have to sign a little clause in there that says you can't compete within a certain period of leaving this place? Are those legal? Are those illegal? You know, are you guys going to ask lawyers to get involved and have to fix a problem? So I want you to really focus on asking questions along the way, okay? So first things first, do you guys know the difference between an employee and an independent contractor? Anybody? Lisa? I'm going to pick on her today. It's great. Right. The employer is the one who's withholding taxes on your behalf and sending it to the government. Now, what's going to happen is when you guys go out into the working world, you're going to get this contract, and it's most likely going to say you're an independent contractor. What the heck does that mean? I thought I was going out and being an employee of somebody. I don't want to have to deal with taxes. Too bad. Dentists hold all the power. If you want that job, you might have to sign this agreement. And as an independent contractor, you are treated very differently than an employee. How? An independent contractor is basically their own business. They're walking around, they set their own hours, they can make more money than an employee, they can lose money, they're not controlled by a dentist, they have their own equipment, and so that might be you. You might have to actually go out and buy your own equipment, file your own taxes, and do all those things that an independent business person would. If you're an employee, it's sad to say, but you're almost like a servant. You know, some dentist is just paying you a salary and benefits to come in and provide services personally. They're going to tell you how to do the work, they're going to give you the equipment that you need, and that's it. So with that in mind, why is it important to know the difference between an independent contractor and an employee? Number one, there's tax. You know, as an independent contractor, you can write off business expenses. So there was a case in the 1980s where a dentist or a dental professional took a trip, went down to Hawaii for a convention. She wanted to write the whole thing off as a business expense, you know, because pay less tax, why not? The CRA, the Canada Revenue Agency, said, you're not an independent contractor, you are an employee, you are not allowed to deduct that expense, you have to pay us more tax. So it went to court, and the court looked at the whole reality of the situation and said, no, she's in fact an independent contractor. She sets her own hours, she can make more money, she's not controlled, she has her own patients. The reality is she's an independent contractor, she can deduct that expense. Now, the one thing that I want you guys to walk away with, employee versus independent contractor, is it doesn't matter what the agreement you sign says. The only thing that matters is the reality of the relationship. Okay? I'm going to repeat that. The reality is what counts. So if you sign something that says you're an independent contractor, but the reality is you get a paycheck, you're controlled by the dentist, you don't set your hours, you don't own the equipment, you're supervised, you're an employee. And as an employee, you're treated differently. For example, you can't write off expenses. So if you ever get audited, you're a bit screwed. Next thing is, when it comes to termination, dentists love to make you guys independent contractors because they can terminate you like that. There's a clause in the agreement that says, whenever I want, I'm going to give you about a month's notice, and you're out the door. That's it. I don't owe you anything other than 1 month's notice. And in fact, if I don't want you to step foot in here, I'm just going to pay you for that 1 month. Bye-bye. You could be working there for 10 years. They're still just going to give you 1 month's notice. With employees, it's different. You actually get the benefit of certain laws that say, dentist has to follow these laws under this legislation that says if they've been working there for a set period of time and they're an employee, they get certain minimum payout. Okay? The other thing is that under judge-made law, I'm not going to bore you with it, but again, when you leave and if you're an employee, you get certain payouts. So you're protected if you're an employee. You are guaranteed minimum wage. You're protected with maximum working hours. You're protected when you have to leave if somebody gets sick, you know, sick leave, parental leave. So employees are like protected servant type of people. Independent contractors, you're off on your own. So that's the major difference. Does anybody have any questions about independent contractors versus employees? Because we're going to do our first little giveaway unless there's questions. Anybody? Lisa? Yes?
What if your contract is kind of a muddle of both?
Interesting question. David?
The answer effectively is what Michael said already. It's not necessarily what's written down in the document, but it's the actual scenario of how you operate the business, either working with the other dentist for yourself. Because at the end of the day, God forbid a matter goes to the court system and you're going to have to present arguments to the judge. What is written down is only one piece of the puzzle, and at the end of the day, it's not going to carry as much weight as people think. So if it's muddled, and I'm a big fan of having clearly drafted agreements, it doesn't help anyone. It probably is going to hurt people more because you're going to end up arguing over, you're going to end up arguing over muddled terms. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the court's going to say, let's look at the actual performance of these persons and the actual relationship, and that's what's going to decide the day.
So courts will look at 4 factors to figure out what you are. Control, are you controlled or do you have control? Are you supervised? Second thing is, can you make more money than an employee can? Because if I'm an independent business, I can have I'm working for multiple dentists here. I can make way more money than if I was just working for one. Do I own my own tools? That makes me kind of my independent business. And do I actually have expenses, and can I risk losing money? Dentists, when they're hiring you on as independent contractors, don't really understand what that means. And courts will look at those 4 factors, and not one of them is determinative. If you don't own your own tools, does that mean you can't be an independent contractor? No. It's the totality of the relationship. They'll look at, are you setting your own hours? How are you getting paid? Do you have your own patients? Are you soliciting your own work? Are you, in fact, an independent business? And having your own tools is one of those factors that lends towards you being an independent contractor. And dentists that hire you just don't understand that. They don't understand the whole matrix of what makes up an independent contractor. They're just told by their lawyers and accountants, look, play it safe, make them an independent contractor, you can let them go easily, and you don't have to worry about their taxes. And the dentists say, yeah, sounds good. Any more questions before we move on to the next topic? The next topic is going to be more about the agreement that you guys are going to be asked to sign off on.